Let me guess, you're sick and tired of trying to sync multiple cameras by just using audio. Well, I've got the thing just for you. Let's talk about it in this week's Gear Breakdown. How's it going, everyone? My name is Dylan, and welcome to Market Street. Today, we're going to be talking all about timecode. Now, I'm going to keep this really short and simple because obviously there's so much information online about this. What I'm going to talk about is how we use it and why we use it. So, what is this? It is the Tentacle Sync E. So right now we're filming with just one camera, and that's totally okay. But the moment you start switching to 2, 3, 4 cameras, there becomes an issue with having to sync all of those together. Now, when we first started out, we would always just sync everything by using the audio of the onboard camera. We would just take all the cameras, put it into Premiere, and we would just synchronize. And that worked for what we were trying to do. Then Premiere just didn't want to start synchronizing anymore because things got more and more complex. Then we moved over to a software called Pluralize, and it worked for what we needed it to do. But as you add more cameras are shooting in slow motion, it just gets to be too much. And that's where timecode comes in handy, especially the Tentacle Sync E. So first, what is the goal of timecode? The goal of timecode is to synchronize all of the cameras and audio recorders on set so that in post, it's a matter of a few clicks to sync all of them up correctly. Now keep in mind, timecode is a metadata level of synchronization, meaning that it doesn't affect your frame rates, it doesn't affect the resolution that you're filming in, and it doesn't matter what type of camera you're shooting on. Sometimes we shoot on big cinema cameras that allow you to input timecode via a specific cable, and sometimes we shoot on DSLRs that all they have is a microphone jack. And that's what's awesome about the Tentacle Sync E, because it works no matter what camera platform you're using. A lot of professional audio recorders have their own internal clock that can generate timecode. This can read that. More importantly though, if you don't have one of those expensive audio devices, this can generate its own timecode as well. Another big factor is size. This thing is tiny, very tiny compared to a lot of other timecode devices out there. It also has built-in Velcro, allowing us to stick this just about anywhere. The battery life is amazing too. At a full charge, this will last around 35 hours, meaning that we can keep these on a camera all day and we don't have to worry about ever having to charge them. Now you're probably wondering, why do I always have to keep these on the camera? Why can I not just plug this into the camera, let the timecode generate on the camera and unplug it and then go set it down somewhere else? Well, the only issue with that is that most cameras have a terrible clock inside of them. For most cameras, when you turn it off, within 3 to 5 minutes, the clock actually gets off just a little bit because there's no power going to the camera. Now this is probably familiar to you. If you leave the battery out too long in a camera and you turn it on, it wants you to set up the camera again because it's lost all of its settings. That's what's so powerful about these, because we can turn the cameras off and we don't have to turn these off, and when we turn it back on, this is automatically sending timecode back into the camera and getting everything back on track. When you're shooting a day's worth of footage, if the clock gets off by just a few frames, by the end of the day, it's off by a few seconds, and that can really mess up your post-production process. What's also great about these is that when you switch a camera to start shooting slow motion, most of the times you're shooting at a different frame rate, which means the timecode may be off completely. But that's okay. The moment you go from slow motion back to sound speed again, these things send timecode into the camera and get everything back on track. That is what they refer to as jam sync. So going back, I said that these can read timecode from an external device, but they can also generate timecode. Well, how do they generate timecode? Pretty simple. You use your phone. Tentacle Sync has made these super easy to use by just using Bluetooth from your phone, and then the clock that's on your phone generates timecode and sends it to this device. And it's okay if you have multiple devices. I have 2 right here. There's one on the camera in the background, and we just turn all these on. We open up the mobile app on the phone, and we hit sync. It takes a minute for everything to load up, and then all these devices are ready to go in just under about 10 seconds. So you're probably wondering, how hard is it to actually sync up everything once we have all the footage on the computer? It's actually very simple. Tentacle Sync makes their own software that you open up, you put all of the footage in, you let it load in, and then all you need to do is go up and hit sync. It takes just a few moments for the software to recognize the timecode on the clips. Once it's in sync, we just go up and we export an XML file, and then we can go into our favorite NLE of choice. Ours is Premiere. We import the XML file, we can open up the sequence, and as you can see, everything is perfectly synced. So if you're someone that's sick and tired of always trying to sync everything using the audio from multiple cameras, I definitely check these out. It used to be that most Timecode devices were too expensive for smaller production companies to actually buy and keep. They would have to rent them. Now with the Tentacle Sync, it's very cheap and it's very simple. If you're interested in checking these out, I've linked it in the description below. And they also make a lot of really other cool products that we currently own, including their Tentacle Track E, which is an audio recorder, a lav mic, that syncs with all of these other devices, and it makes your post-production audio so simple. So simple. Thanks for joining us on this week's Gear Breakdown. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. We'd also appreciate it if you subscribe if you really want to see more of our videos. I'm Dylan from Market Street. We'll see you next time.